Shalom, all friends and family of Nissan Yakubov. We know that it's going to be at this time period 3 years ago. He sadly passed away from the different illness he had, and was a very sad time period for everyone. And I just wanted to introduce myself. I was a good friend of Nissan. I actually met him only 5 years before he passed away in the year 2014. It was, and I heard so many great memories about him on Torah Anytime, an organization from what I hear he helped start up in some form and capacity. And I heard many great things, how he gave up a potential career in comedy, a top career he could have had in there, under the instruction of that Torah. He asked his rabbi, the Rosh Yeshiva he had, and sacrificed this potential very money-making job for a career where he would continue earning the parnasa and lead a Torah lifestyle, which he very much did. And I heard also inside the Torah Anytime lectures of all the chesed he did, all the different events he started up, the comedy events he did within regards to helping raise money for charity and everything else, and all the different numerous projects he was involved in. So I know he moved to Ramat Bet Shemesh in Israel, but I met him when he was living in Elad, the very Israeli Haredi city, that's situated near Petach Tikva and Bnei Brak, respectively. So I met him in 2014. It actually happened to be automatically, I met him through chesed opportunity, through kindness. It was me and another friend, a rabbi. We were going to start up a heritage kiruv training program for Sephardim to teach them about the Sephardic history, potentially, and about the Shulchan Aruch and the different Rabbanim. And then these people would be very proud Sephardi Rabbanim and the mitchazek people in the different communities, a project that is still very much needed. And he wants to be very much involved with it. Not just he wanted to volunteer his time, Nissan did, to teach, which he would have been a phenomenal teacher and brilliant asset. He also wants to help in fundraising also. And in a very prestigious position, really sacrificed for it and gave a lot of advice. One form or another, the project we didn't do at the end, we didn't start it up. But just over there, initially, the loving, the kindness he wanted, he saw this is an opportunity he wanted to be part of. It was chesed. And straight away, the first time I met him, it was actually interesting. We spoke straight away for an hour, and he presented a big shiur to me of the foundation. And he brought many different sources in the Torah, linking different things up and demonstrating the different important issues inside the Torah. And he had this gift, Nissan did, just like Rabbi Dr. Akiva Tatz, the way he presented his shiurim. Nissan was very good at bringing different things in together from the Torah and explaining things at a very high level, at academic level, and would have been a perfect teacher, lecturer for university students, especially people that might not have been religious and stuff like that. And he was just full of kindness. The first time I met him, whenever I met him, he always gave me such kavod. It was another thing the whole time. I had just done smicha. Always he would address anyone that is learning Torah as a rabbi. He had such a kavod for all the different rabbanim and everything else. And I met him obviously a few times. We were going to be involved in this. And even when the project we didn't necessarily start it up, I kept a very close relationship with him the whole time, because my in-laws, they happen to live in Elad. And in this city, Elad, there's not many Americans, there's not many English speakers. It's probably 99% French, Mexican, Israeli, 1% English speakers. So there wasn't many people I could relate to over there, because I went there, I spent a lot of Shabbatot there, and I brought my wife and my kids and everything. We still go there. And usually I would visit him on the Shabbat afternoon in Elad, and we'll sit together, we'll make a discussion, spiritual discussion. He'll bring about different divrei Torah. He always quotes the different Rabbanim. He had like a big, huge amount of books on his bookshelf and always was doing it out. But it's actually interesting. A lot of the times we spoke, I brought my kids with the whole time, and he was just an incredible person with a lot of love. Especially he gave a lot of respect to everyone. Whenever I came, he said, "No, you can come whenever you want. You're more than welcome." It was like a kind of an open invitation straight away, and he didn't mind when my kids came. There's actually one story once. It was in Purim in 2015. I came with my son, and I think one of his kids had made a Chanukiah. It was a very nice Chanukiah. My son was very mischievous in the house, running around, and by accident broke his, I think it was his daughter or son's Chanukiah. It was something they made in the school, and straight away he didn't make my son, the 3-year-old, feel bad at all. He gave him a lot of kavod, made him feel good, and said, "Yeah, doesn't worry about it." And the whole time he was just giving kavod to everybody. He had a lot of respect for everybody. I saw the way that on Shabbat, he was very into, we all know he was very into healthy food. He spoke a lot about like organic food, fruits, vegetables, about how it should be pure, the purity of it. And his daughter the whole time would come offer cake and drink. And he'll always point out with compliments to his kids. The way he treated his kids was complimenting the whole time. And saying, look what they made, look how healthy it is. Look how much effort they put in. And that's one thing I could really see, is that he really appreciated especially his family. Was always wanted the best for them, and he seemed like a really, really good person, and everything else. I remember in Elad, he was very much involved. He had his backyard inside the chatzer, the garden of his apartment. He was growing the different fruit trees, the different nature things, and I think there was a park right next to his house. Actually, my brother-in-law lives only a minute away, and I think he actually made a big effort with the council to make like a very nice park, so that the kids could keep busy there and spend their time, because he was worried about everybody. He wanted everyone to be happy, and he saw that the great nature there was in that city of Elad, in this Haredi city, and how it could potentially be used up. And many, many stories I could say about him, about his kindness he had, always quoting different Rabbanim. A lot of times we would sometimes also look at recent political events. I remember at the time when the former President Trump was elected, we weren't talking necessarily about him as Trump as a person. He was looking at the Torah aspect of it, that the President of America, his son-in-law is Jewish, is a Orthodox Jew, and was always looking at what events are happening, which is bringing the Mashiach close together. He always looked at all the events in life he was looking at. It wasn't like of the now, it's of the potentiality of what it's going to be like when Mashiach comes. Like it's a step closer, and he was always anticipating that. And I met him all the times when I came to Elad. It was 2016, 2017, and then the devastating news came I think it was around Rosh Hashanah time in 2017, that he told me he was sick. The first thing he did to me, he called me and he said, Michael, please forgive me for anything that has happened, when there was obviously nothing whatsoever for me to forgive him about, because I never saw him insult or say anything bad about anybody. He was always full of kavod for people, but he knew at that time he was going to have a series of operations for the massive illness that he had at that stage in time, and was calling up everybody and was taking care, giving kavod still, and giving brachot. And he went through all of that, and he made that what seemed to be like a miraculous recovery at the time. And I remember I saw him. It was after my fourth child was born. We did a brit milah. It was a time probably when he had made a recovery at that stage, and he was getting back to himself. It was in the end of March 2018. And straight away, he couldn't come that day for one thing or another, but straight away was saying, I was there in the simcha, I was feeling you the whole time. The whole day I was thinking about it. He couldn't come for one reason or another, but he really made such an effort. And then it was a year before he passed away, in Sukkot time, 2018. I also saw him, I came to his house, and once again, in his backyard, we were speaking for 2 hours, a spiritual discussion. There was such love for Hashem, for the miracles he had. He had talked about the matching donor he had at the time with the previous operation, where there was obviously huge success, and was full of gratitude to Hashem the whole time that day. And he made at that stage a full recovery. But as we all know, that around Sukkot time, just after Sukkot in 2019, 3 years ago, he had to go back to the hospital. And I remember I actually saw him a few weeks before he had sadly passed away. I saw him in the Beit Knesset in Elad. It was around Sukkot time or something. I remember I came with my son, and he told me that he's going to have to go back to the hospital. But straight away he said, Hashem is great. That's what was his word straight away. Without any complaint, he was saying, Hashem is great. Hashem is great. That's the last words he said to me. The whole time, everything was about Hashem. He always considered Hashem in the picture in every single thing he did. He had always, everything was L'Shem Shemaim about him. He wanted the best for Hashem, and sadly he was taken from us at such a young age in November 2019, 3 years ago. It's the third Hilula yard site, and so many great things. I know he wrote a lot of different manuscripts, also a lot of Torah ideas. So it'd be good if someone shares that at one stage, whatever it might be, at the discretion of everyone. But we should all keep doing things. He left such a legacy for so many people across the world. We can see Torah anytime is thriving, from my knowledge, and he was one of the people that very much was involved in helping to start it. So much zchuyot he's got. He did so much chesed the whole time, wherever he was. Whether he was in America, in Ramat Bet Shemesh, and in Elad, he was just giving kavod to everybody. And I wish long life to all his family, all the close family of his, all his kids, everybody that was connected to him, the entire family. And Bez Hashem, his neshama is protecting all of us. I wish you all well, and be